Welcome back to Buy or Sell. It's a Tuesday, the day we take all your mutual fund questions. And as we mentioned, we have Anil Rego, who's CEO and founder of Right Horizons, right here in our Bangalore studios to answer all your questions. Let's get going with the very first query. We have Nimish Sawant. Nimish Sawant, who's going to join us in a moment. Let me just take his question across to Anil. Nimish Sawant from Mumbai says, I have 70 units of Birla Sun Life Tax Relief 96 at an NAV of 140. It was purchased in 2007. It's within the lock-in period. Should I pay the exit load and redeem, or will I get an NAV of 140 in the next 18 months? I believe Nimish has joined us. I've spelled out the details of his question. Nimish, how old are you? It'll give us a sense of your risk appetite.
I'm 25 basically, so pretty much willing to take a risk sort of a thing.
Okay.
But then I just need some assurance that I'll get some definite returns, in the near future. Otherwise, it's no point holding in the money for such a long time. Okay.
Anil, what would you advise to Nimish?
Sure. What he's bought is a tax saver fund. So by the government regulation, you need to hold it for 3 years there. So you may not have the opportunity to actually exit from that. So the choice is not in your hands actually. At the same time, can you guarantee that returns? Can you guarantee the current NAV later? Actually, you cannot. Okay, because whatever the NAV at that point of time, at the end of 3 years, is when you can exit there. Of course, if the conditions at that time are not favorable, you could always hold it on for a little longer time. So I think today you don't have too much of a choice there.
All right, little choice there. That's the view that Anil has. We have with us Shravan Kumar joining us from Bangalore. Shravan, good afternoon. What's your question?
Good afternoon. I just want to know about mutual funds and which is better to buy.
All right. Give us a little bit of details, Shravan. You're 29 years old. You have 7 years of work experience. Typically, how much money do you save as a percentage of your income every month? And what other investments do you have? What's your portfolio looking like?
I do save around 15 to 20%. And I have life insurance policy. One policy, that's it.
And you're looking at equity funds, right?
Yes.
What would you advise him for someone who has about 7 years of work experience, 15 to 20% of his income? He has invested in stocks, so he has a portfolio, and he also has a FD which is maturing sometime soon. What would be the best fund for him to pick? Should he look at an SIP? Should he invest in lump sum?
Sure. First of all, if you're looking at reinvesting your FD, what are the proceeds from that? I think you need to ask yourself, what is your overall asset allocation, and does it make sense to move that to equity? Okay. At this point, I believe that he can take some amount of risk. The markets, of course, have run up a bit, moving sideways. So this brings in some confusion as to whether you may see a large correction. It probably will break out on either side, right? So keeping that in mind, I would not suggest a lump sum. I would suggest maybe we do systematic investments. Even if he has a lump sum, then we put it in a debt fund and then do a systematic transfer. What are the funds that he can look at? I think a combination of large cap as well as mid cap funds. He can do something like a HDFC top 200 or HDFC equity, and maybe use funds like Sundaram Select mid cap or Birla Sun Life mid cap fund there.
Anil, there's a lot of consolidation going on in the mutual fund sector. On the one hand, we have a lot of investors panicking every time one fund is taken over, absorbed into another. They're nervous about the administration staff of sorting it out. But tell me, is there any upside actually to this consolidation? Any message you'd like to send out to investors who panic every time there's consolidation?
Sure. Actually, I think it's a good sign. So you'll find a lot of, these smaller players and people who are not very serious moving out, and they get probably acquired by some of the larger and much better players there. So I think it's a step in the right direction for customers who are with these smaller funds who've bought it in the past. I think they need not worry because it's going to get better. Okay, so there's no real need of concern. So I think it is positive the way I look at that.
Right, Anil. Tell us what are your top picks in large cap equity and in ELSS.
Sure. In large cap equity, I think we can use funds like HDFC Top 200. You could use, Birla Sun Life, their large cap fund. You can also use, DSP BlackRock Top 100 out there. ELSS funds, maybe one can use funds like, again, HDFC Tax Saver. We could use a Canada Robeco Tax Saver. You can do an ICICI tax plan. So I think those are the picks in those two categories.
Thanks so much for joining us, Anil, and giving us your top picks as well as advice to all those watching the channel and having questions on mutual funds. This is where we answer all your questions on Tuesday. Send them to us. Our guests will help answer them. And remember, 2 IPOs are going to be in action this week. We will be discussing those tomorrow. Do recall that we take up your questions every day on buy or sell. Stay with us. We will have our F&O queries coming this time on Thursday, but IPO Watch will happen tomorrow. We wrap up buy or sell. Bharat is going to be joining us as well as Ashu to take it.